anything more right now, but obviously he couldn't return. But we're really proud of our group. At Seton Hall, I give them a lot of props for even playing the game. Kevin's such a stand-up guy. He's a terrific coach. They have such an incredible culture of toughness. They're hard to play against. And, he goes 14 days and doesn't practice. So for us to, there'd be a lot of coaches probably mailed in and say, hey, we're not playing the game until, we get a few practices under our belt. So it is what it is. We're really fortunate to win the game and move on to our next game on Sunday.
Chris, can you just speak about the last 30 or 40 seconds and what JJ did there? The bucket, the putback bucket, then he gets the rebound, and then he gets the 2 free throws. But he kind of grew up there in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, we need him to, because everybody that's playing isn't very experienced. So we need all of our guys, Jody, to really grow up. And it's one thing if maybe you have a game where you're playing really well all along and you got a little confidence in yourself. But I think JJ would tell you that, he was a little bit out of sorts, didn't play his best, didn't play as well as he did against Evansville. And for him to have the presence of mind, the mental toughness to stay with it, make a couple of plays down the stretch that allowed us to win the game, says a lot about him. He's very quiet. His improvement has been rapid, and his ceiling is just absolutely through the roof. All we ask for JJ is, don't let your physical strength be a negative. Don't get bullied. If you don't get bullied, he can play above the rim. He can finish around the basket. He can block shots. Don't let the strength be a negative. And it's one thing saying it, but then you're going against guys like Sandro and Ike Obiagu, and just some big, tough, physical guys. It's a challenge. He really grew up, Tony.
Twice in the last minute and a half or 2 minutes, they took a timeout. JJ was on Sandro, and out of the timeout, you put DJ to put David on Sandro, and it really kind of caused them or caught them maybe a little off guard. What did you see with putting him on there, and did you feel like he did a good job?
Well,
did you say that?
Sandro.
I'm knocking this post game out. Okay, yeah, I got it, man. I got Matt
He's a
playing too.
prospect at the pro level.
Perfect. I'll jump on here when I'm done. Okay.
And, he got it going there down the stretch.
I'll just mute your mic for now.
We want to
yeah. I'll stay on here. Yeah, just mute me.
Going him at the end probably wasn't fair to JJ. He battled. He's done a great job, but David's a sophomore, and some of our freshmen that have turned sophomores, it has to become a little bit more their team. Take the lessons that David learned a year ago. Can you apply them as a sophomore? I thought David did a great job. But, Jody, here's the thing. They're setting so many daggone ball screens that the matchups that you won't want don't necessarily end up how you want them to look. So, we were just very, very fortunate that, we saw a free throw go by the wayside there at the end.
Also, with they came out in that 2-3 the one time in Carleek. They jumped Carleek, and right away he found the open guy. His floor game today, he got a lot of long rebounds, 11 rebounds in all, but just his floor game.
Yeah,
11 boards.
Carleek is a very high IQ player. He uses his body great. He changes speeds.
The referees were terrible.
Talk about the possibility of them running at him.
They played with some heart.
Seton Hall's conditioning probably wasn't going to be great as they hadn't practiced for so long. We said they could throw a matchup zone at us, which they did a few possessions of the game. They could certainly ice the ball screen and push him to a side of the floor. But for him to have the
did we play against the Rick Pitino matchup zone?
To be able to make the right play and JJ to finish the basket. It's I got a lot of trust with Carleek having the ball.
Hey, Rami.
All right, with that, we'll go to questions from our media on the call. Somebody wants to drop us a note in the chat that you're ready to ask one. I see Tim on there. Are you ready to go, Tim?
Well, I hope so.
There you go.
You can be heard. Chris, how do you explain Carleek's rebounding act? This is 2 straight games where the game high rebounder has been a 6'1" point guard, and tonight, what did you see there previously, and what have you seen so far?
Yeah, as I said before, he really knows how to use his body, Tim. He's not afraid of anything. Because we were switching so many on-the-ball screens, a lot of the times he was rolling into the post or near the block, guarding a four-man, and so if he can keep that guy from getting the ball in the air.
Come on, coach. Come on, coach.
Wasted below, he's going to be quicker to the ball than a 4 or 5. He's got like a lot of high IQ players, he has a really good nose for the ball. He just knows where the ball is going to ricochet to. He doesn't leak out, and he's a tough kid. And he's been a rebounder his whole career. I mean, high school, Radford here.
Tigers of ESPN law.
Hold up, Pat.
What's poppin', little mama? No, you was headed that way. You want to join the live? I'm gonna put you on speaker. Just you sure? I know. Okay, you on speaker. What did you think about the game?
No, don't do that.
No, just tell us what you thought about the game.
What about bullshit refs?
Yeah, that too.
And how they let the damn game get back within reach. Shit.
That wasn't their fault.
Well, no, it wasn't their fault, but the calls they were calling was their fault. And when we found out at the end of the damn game, let me stop before I get in trouble.
Okay.
But it kind of was their fault, though.
Hold on, girl. Let me finish the live, and I'll hit you right back.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Other questions for Coach?
Steve, you need to start asking Coach some questions.
Hey, Coach, it's Pat Jackers, ESPN Louisville. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the last 10 minutes of the game. Seton Hall was able to narrow the lead there late, and I just want to know what your thoughts on, what was the difference?
Well, I think they're good. There we go. You play a team that, some teams that you get up 10 or 12 points and they start to cave a little bit. That's not Seton Hall. It's just not Kevin's team's identities, and of course we knew that as a coaching staff. I'm sure, a guy like Malik Williams on our bench knew that. I'm coaching a lot of young players, and they made some really tough plays. I mean, really, big time shots. Our whole thing was don't let them in the lane. Don't give them second shots. They got a lot of second shots. Our kids are battling. And so, you give credit to the other team. Just, we're not having the ability to sub in a ton of players. So guys are trying to play through fatigue. Seton Hall's not going to quit. But, equally as impressive to me isn't necessarily them taking the lead. It's our players' resiliency in that last 3.5 minutes after getting down, being up 10 or 12, to pull out a win, after we had given up the lead. So, Seton Hall's not going to quit. I can tell you that.
Well, Coach Shannon.
Hey, Coach. When Quinn was called for that foul there right at the end, what was going through your mind? Can you kind of set that up for us?
Yeah, so
I'm listening.
that's my fault.
Say that again, Steve.
I pulled David and Carlik over to the side and said to him, 5 seconds left.
What did you say,
yelling to your players. If he makes it, we're going to foul. If he misses it, you don't want to put JJ in that situation where he's hearing his coach yelling if he misses it, right? So brought Carlik and David over and told those guys on the ball handler dribbling the ball off the floor, we want to reach in before half court, and so David was guarding his own matchup, Sandro, who was way down the floor. Carlik was on the other side of the floor with a different matchup, and unfortunately, I didn't do a good enough job getting the message to Quinn. You have to cover so
Carlik
much
is
in the
awesome.
preseason. We always know the coaching staff that we're going to foul. We should have practiced that.
Right.
We had a call. Mike Roberts, the referee, looked at me, and I just said, yeah, we're going to foul. And I thought we would do it on the 65 feet as he's dribbling up the ball up the floor and not on the exact time of the shot. So that's on me, and fortunately he missed the third free throw.
Go to Gary Grace and then Nick Cobb.
Chris, you was such a young team. How patient are you in terms of trying to develop their poise, and what did they kind of show you today?
You unmuted, Steve.
How they reacted there after falling behind, and then just trying to get that lead.
You hear me, Robbins?
Yeah, honestly, we've got a lot of experience when Carlik's got the ball in his hand. We really
I bet that was so good.
I thought David.
I bet that was so good.
It got better. Much better today.
Cardinal Cam, they did look tough.
Instead of driving the kick out, settle for that 3-point shot. Want to be a little
Toughness was
easier.
right.
So, our experience level with the guys that have the ball in their hand is maybe greater than maybe some of our parts, all the other guys. So I was tremendously proud of our guys to be able to take that gut punch and keep responding. We talked about not giving up second shots.
They rebounded well.
The expectation on is our ability to communicate and play home. He played at Watertown last year. We played at Warren Central. That's not my fault. You play at Louisville now. You came here. You want to compete.
You wanted to play.
You have to be able to make a higher level.
You got to be able to get it done.
I know I have to be patient on decisions. Things like that happened to Quinn at the end, found a jump shooter. We're going to learn. We're going to learn. We're going to watch film just like we did in Evansville. We got better. I'm going to be patient on some things. I'm going to be impatient on others.
Welcome back. That was the Chris Mack press conference presented by our community credit union. Be a member, not a number. It was a very entertaining press conference with Keith, and we had some coaching breakdown and everything, but he did talk a lot about J.J. Crater, and J.J. Crater, without a doubt, had the Farm Bureau make sure he got to play every game. With the putback, or not really a putback, but just the catch in the lane, drive, score there. Was huge for a kid who is playing his second collegiate basketball game ever, and to make that play was just massive. So we're going to give him that honor. It did sound like Coach, and by the way, Jack, if you want to re-rack the phone lines with me or whatever, whenever we get them, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, either way, give us a call. We'll get you in here. We'll be here for about another 25, 30 minutes. So with everything, though, that was said, I mean, I think Coach Mack was pleased that he got out of there with a win against the Seton Hall team who could be an NCAA tournament team, a Seton Hall team who is a matchup problem for Louisville, and to still get out of there with a win. I think he's thrilled. I think he's really happy today with what he saw from his team. Again, I'm going back. There's so much to kind of go over there. He did mention, and I said we would do this a little bit because we're on our 15, 20-minute where I said we're going to do nothing but enjoy the crap out of this win. But I will say it did feel like, even though the rebounding numbers didn't end up as bad as I thought, I think they ended up somewhere around 43-41. So we ended up only being out-rebounded by 2. But if you watch the game, you still knew in moments we weren't coming up with big rebounds. That's why the JJ Trainer one at the end was such a big deal for him to come up with that rebound in traffic. So Coach Mack pointed that out. There obviously needs to be a little bit better job there of rebounding, of blocking out, of rebounding by committee, because you are missing that one big guy. You are missing Malik Williams. You're missing a guy like Charles Minlin, who I think they're expecting to rebound at a decent clip. So that you're kind of you're making up for that by committee. And tonight I did feel like that there were moments where they didn't do that. Speaking of certain things, I do want to talk about the landing points in the paint. The big men did their thing tonight. I mean, Jalen Withers, 11 and 6. He come back from what I thought was a slow start. Then you had JJ Trainer, 4 and 3. But I want to talk about again Aiden Agayon. For the second game in a row, we saw him, and again, and I know that the bar isn't set super high here, but we saw him for the second game in a row. Carlik Jones, a nice little 2-game. Carlik Jones looks off the defender to the 3-point line, drops it down to him, and again, you did see Aiden Agayon catch the basketball. And Jack, I heard you giving some crap earlier about I think it was the Streeble about being happy about little things. But I'm going to do this to you again. But just for him to catch the basketball and go up and dunk it, there we know. Yeah. Sure, right. No, and I definitely got your point on that. I mean, so but it was good. I mean, to see, because that's what we need out of him. When if he's going to give us minutes, which we're going to need, I'm going to assume the way Coach Mack talked, not knowing about Sam, I'm going to assume we're not going to see Sam Sunday. They said he'd come back out in a boot, which in basketball, a boot isn't always a nightmare scenario. Marcus can tell you that. Other people can tell you that. A boot is not the end of the world when you see it. But I would just assume you're without him Sunday until we hear different. So, guys like Aiden Agayon are going to have to step up and play. You're going to need guys like that. So it's encouraging to see these guys. So, Jack, if you want to jump in at any time with the text line, and I'm also on the stream with Marcus right now on the Made for the Build YouTube stream. You can get on there. And, I got some text on here that I'm going to react to. But do we got anything coming in there, Jack, before I move on? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think I could. Freshmen are good, man. These young fellas are stepping up, man. And I don't know if. By the way, are you okay? I did. Okay. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure you are okay after that pizza eating that you did. But with that. Okay, well, let's go ahead. We'll get to Cody because I know people want to hear me ramble and be excited, but they want to talk to. So, Cody, welcome in, man, to the full post-game show. What's going on? Absolutely. Appreciate that. Sure. Hey, I appreciate that, Cody, man. Thank you for calling into the ESPN Louisville basketball postgame show. Reading a lot of the comments, even on the stream and different stuff, I'm seeing it sounds like that people are really excited. I mean, and here's the thing I love, and this is the exciting thing. I'm going down this text line over here, and I'm seeing Quinn Slazinski, Withers, Carlik Jones. The names that are JJ Traynor, of course. It's just the names that people are excited for are spread apart, and that's what we knew. Again, I say it all the time. It's the smartest fan base in college basketball. Not the wildest, not the craziest, not the ones that dip to backer the most, but the smartest fan base in college basketball, and they know. As Indiana's close, I'll give you that, Jack. Indiana might be up there too. They know their ball. So, but Louisville fans knew the only way this team succeeds early is if success is spread around. One guy was not going to carry this team, and I know Carlik Jones has been, you could argue, carrying the team, so to speak. But one guy is not going to. Basically, Jack, okay, I see your text there. Jack, it wasn't going to be a team where one guy was going to be a superstar because I didn't feel like there was enough with the injuries to where one guy could just do it because I didn't think there was enough help there. It was going to have to be something that was spread throughout many players, and that's what's happened. Guys have come in, they played their role, they did what they needed to do, and they're making plays when they need to make plays. For Jalen Withers to take that ball to the hole down the stretch there, that's huge. I mean, that's a huge play to get that bucket. I mean, just little for Dre Davis to get when. All right, Jack, help me out. Seton Hall, big man. Thank you very much for that. When he hits that three, I look right at my son and I'm like, "It's game. All right, it was a good try." I was ready to get on the air and just go, well, they're missing a few guys. And then you look up and here's Dre Davis. Boom, gets to the basket. Bam, foul, bucket, and one. Hits the free throw, tied up, game on. It was just, that's awesome to see. So I don't want to wait Patty Ice wait too long because I would have fired me. Big boss man, Patty Ice, what's going on, man? How you doing, man? I know, man. How about it? You was at the game, so give us a little bit, man.
I agree. It's good pressure.
Yeah.
Our league had 18 and 11 and 6. Ooh. They're going to get better, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when Sam Williamson went out, I did think that there was obviously that took a piece out of the offensive threat, in the way he was playing. I thought he was playing well, so I think that took out. But here's the issue, and I said this because when I started the postgame show, I said, look, we're going to take 15 minutes. We're just going to be pumped. We're just going to be excited because this young team figured out a win. But that didn't change the fact that there were some things that I think you saw and worried you a little bit. And down the stretch, it did feel like Louisville did. I mean, listen, Seton Hall very rarely took one shot and didn't get a second look at it. And when that happens, you have Louisville going on a 4.5, 5 minute drought. And if you're giving a team like Seton Hall second and third looks, they're going to score. I mean, so without you asked the question too, I think to Coach Mack about the rebounding, and what he said to you, I think is 100%. And that I would imagine will be something that over the next 2 days and against Prairie View will be 100% the attention grabber. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I think this game coming up,
I guess I should have did that. Sorry.
Greensboro and Little Rock is going to be one you're going to want to watch if you can, just because it'll tell you everything you need to know about their big man. That they're 7-footer. They really seem to like. Louisville's playing them in 3-4 days, something like that. I can't remember the exact date.
JJ, giant rebounds and free throws. I did like the play of young big guys. They look pretty tough. Chuck, I have not gotten to the leftovers yet, but I'm going to knock down a little bit of this, and then I'm going to get to the leftovers. Thank you, Angel, so much.
I just didn't expect him to kind of take that jump that he has this year.
What is Patty Ice talking about?
The other thing is the fact that I think that if you look at it and you ask, like, if Louisville needs a 3 late or if they're going to throw it out to somebody to shoot a 3, it's probably Quinn Plazinski, because in 2 games, I mean, he's the one guy I feel like that can knock down the tray.
Are we just acting like Quinn Plazinski is all of a sudden a decent player?
Now that you got Ryan McMahon, Jordan Moore,
Marcus been telling you that.
I think he's going to be.
He's been telling you watch out for Quinn.
In terms of shooting the 3.
Y'all remember?
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Pat, appreciate you, man. Coming in and giving us some updates.
We moved into the new studio
yet. Man. Getting out here to these games and doing what you do.
No problem, man. I'm sure I'll call in throughout the season when we have these things at the Yum Center. But
yeah.
I'm not
tomorrow.
Not sure. Yeah, that's right. Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday is their next match.
Well, no. I was saying tomorrow, pregame, right?
Oh, that's right, dude. It's such a weird week, man. It doesn't feel like it just doesn't feel like football is going on at all right now because of all the hoops action we've had the last few days.
Oh, you're moving along from football to fast.
It really does feel. If you guys have a chance to go to a game this year, I'm telling you, it is the oddest thing
Let's
I've
go!
ever felt being at a Louisville basketball game, because it's just. You just hear echoes. Like, they don't have any pumped-in crowds.
Cardinal Cam, they look totally locked into the coach.
You just don't feel the energy. Like,
when you ask that question, which guys can deal with the quarantine different, Coach probably loves having them on quarantine.
I just expected them to have some type of pumped-in crowd noise and something like that. No, man, it's just very, very quiet.
I got Steve on mute.
Well, man,
I have Patty Ice playing on the phone.
As always, man, we'll love to have you call in after these games, man. Let us know how it's going.
When Steve,
I
think he's going to wrap it up.
You guys do a great job as always, and appreciate you guys letting me come on.
Thanks, Pat, man. We'll listen to you tomorrow, man. Pre-game show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, 2 o'clock on ES. I think we're on 939 only tomorrow, but 2 o'clock. Make sure you guys tune in. Everybody's trying to do a hell of a job. We got a heck of a show lined up for you guys. See ya.
Awesome, appreciate it, Pat. Jack, do you want to go ahead and hit that ID real quick?
You are listening to ESPN 680 WHBE New
Newburgh, 105.7 WHBE-FM Eminence, and 93.9 Beville WLCL Sellersburg, Louisville.
Guess we can cut that off.
A couple things real quick before we get back into Louisville, because if not, Phil Baker will scream at me, and I have watched Phil Baker make men cry, grown men cry, and I want no part of that. So UPS Jobs, top 25 scoreboard, apply today.
I might do that. I might do that, Lawrence.
Western Kentucky gets a win, or well, take.
I might
plays well against WVU earlier. Then you had Virginia. What the heck happened with that?
Oh, Virginia did get busted.
Virginia goes down
to San Francisco, the Dons.
I know. Illinois almost goes
What do you think Virginia local radio is like when they lose?
Tooting that horn all over the studio.
Yeah, maybe Ohio's not bad.
I know, yeah. So, I mean, there's been a few close.
Well, only a little bit of timing off between the coverage and
you should ride this one home. Is Gonzaga? They look good. They look the part. They're the best team in the country right now, and they come away with another big win.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs, man, he's a beast. Had another good game today. He's the type of guy like that, just that athletic freak of nature that Gonzaga hasn't traditionally had. They had him in with everything else they already bring back from last year. They're scary.
Yeah, no.
If they get through Baylor and Iowa in the next couple of weeks, they may not lose a game.
That's absolutely.
We say that every year.
So, we'll be keeping an eye on them. Also, the Coyle Auto Group ACC standings. Save $1,000 off your next Chevrolet. Mention Coyle 75 at the purchase at CoyleDeals.com. Right now, of course, we don't have ACC standings, but Louisville is 2-0. 2-0, and right now there are other teams around the country, Virginia included, that can't say they're 2-0. And the Cards are going to look to go 3-0 on Sunday, and then that sets up for a decent two-game stretch against Western Kentucky and UNCG.
What's the Western Kentucky final?
Looking like they absolutely could end up being NCAA tournament teams. So that's going to be kind of.
We need a lot more basketball IQ,
let's get back to this game really quick too.
The defense wasn't bad.
So much to kind of go over. I took so many notes during this game. But again, another one is Carlik Jones. I'm going to go back to Carlik Jones because I said this early in the show. I really think he's the best point guard we've had since Peyton Siva. And of course now, Terry Rozier, if you wanted to call him that, Terry was a little more of a scorer.
Yeah, he's a two-guard turn point.
He was kind of a combo that was, could take a game over in different ways. But as far as just true point guard, we go on a 4.5-minute drought, which really we can't afford to do. And I think that was one of the reasons why Seton Hall starts to come back. But for Carlik Jones to just be the guy to say, give me the ball.
Yeah, drops because they're unselfish.
Get into the paint, pull up jumper, knock it down. Kind of got things going again for Louisville there. He is showing that he's a leader. He's showing that he's the leader of this team. He's showing that this is, without a doubt,
they talk a lot. They did a good job.
Look, I don't know if it's just bad luck or what on James Strebel's part that he just so happened to pick Carlik Jones to make fun of. Maybe it's just bad luck there. But this dude's the real deal, man. He's an absolute stud that looks like he's going to be an all-ACC performer as the season goes on. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see.
Q look good, didn't
dynamic. I'm really, really looking forward to
that
matchup
Carly
against Western
can get a shot off.
To watch Carlik Jones go up against Hollingsworth and go up against those guys. If you wanted to say something, maybe on the other side of that, I do find the dynamic interesting how it almost feels like David Johnson is – it's like David's trying to figure out how to play with Carly almost. And I don't know how many other fans you're driving home right now or you're tuning in and you're listening to this and but it almost seems like he's trying to figure out how to play with this alpha guard who is who's scoring the ball, who's running the offense. It's becoming very.
No, they're the reigning champions, Lawrence. They're not going hard like that already.
Carlik's the off guard, the score. And I was listening to the luncheon, and on the luncheon, you had Carlik Jones, and he referred to himself as the point guard and David as the shooting guard. Then I listened to Coach Mack at the luncheon, and he referred to Carlik as the point guard. And I remember I told Maven, I said, okay, something to this. Obviously, Carlik's the point guard here. Like this, it's not the other way around. And it's clear 2 games in that Carlik is the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands, the guy who's going to be the one making the plays or deciding who makes the plays. So to see that, it is the first game David had foul trouble, and you kind of said that is what it is. But today, David Johnson, let me look. David Johnson had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, so not a bad game. But it is clear that he's trying to figure this out a little bit, and that's okay. I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, it's different now that instead of you being a guy. I mean, last year Louisville really didn't have much at the point. I mean, Fresh Campbell did what he could do. Darius Perry did what he could do. David Johnson was the guy last year that would handle all that. And this year it's Carlik Jones, and David's learning to kind of play off. I didn't mind. Lawrence called in earlier. I didn't mind David taking the 3 at the end. I thought it was a good look. I thought he was there. I mean, he had already hit 1.
You got to shoot it too. You got to be confident.
I would like to see David Johnson look to still distribute a little more. It did feel like at times that he kind of got comfortable with
very high.
Almost like he was turning into
he looked like an
3-point shooting 2 guard, and that's not something that's going to be uber successful down the stretch.
I don't think he's worried about
to be a guy
Ellis
who can get to the rim. They need him to be a guy who can get to the rim and distribute. The play the other day where he goes in the hook around pass to Sam Williamson at the top or on the wing where Sam Williamson hits the 3. Those are the type of things that Louisville needs David Johnson to do. And if I was taking a couple things from this game, maybe on the, I don't want to say negative side, because there's not a whole lot of negative, but on the, I'm going to keep that in the back of my head for later games. That would be one of them. Obviously the intensity of the rebounding would be one. And then the other would, I mean, for me, would be David Johnson. So I'm going to be kind of keeping an eye on that as it goes, because I think you're going to see quickly over the next few games. And by the way, Jack, I do have a long-term question to ask you in just a second, being a Big Ten guy. But over the next few games, I'm going to watch and see if maybe that's just a on-the-court mesh thing and see how they do. Or if it's something that it's going to say, okay, this mix, it just isn't going to work. So that's something to kind of keep in the back of our mind. Because over the next few games, and this is what I was going to ask you, Jack, you do have Prairie View, a team I think we feel like we should beat. I do think you're going to be able to learn some things, though, like I said earlier, with how they bounce back or how they handle the maturity of a big win like this and coming out there. Then you play Western and UNCG. I've watched Wisconsin once this year. It might have been the only game they played. I'm not sure. But, Jack, you're a Big Ten guy. You know a lot about Big Ten basketball. That's one I think like Louisville might be able to steal.
I'll say this about it. Wisconsin.
That D looks good, doesn't it?
And it was a great.
It does look good.
Year, and then they bring back all 5 of their starters. So and they're really
see
good.
much
They're
switching.
top 10.
Yeah. I know that might have been more game specific.
Nate Reavers and Micah Potter.
But
the difference in Wisconsin
I don't know if you could switch with those big dudes, with the really big guys.
Until the second semester, they became a completely different team once he got healthy. Thing is that they aren't the type of guys to where they're not going to do what Sandro Mamukashvili or what Charles Bassey are going to do to Louisville. Like Mamukashvili can hit threes and shoots threes as well, but he also
Jack is breaking down with his pronunciation.
As well, Charles Bassey's a guy that's going to bully you up on the inside. Nate Reavers and Micah Potter are both very good, but they're more pick and pop European style bigs. So they're not necessarily going. They do it from time to time. They're not going to be just thrown on the.
Somebody want to jump in here with us?
On the post a lot. So
make sure you leave me an email
because that means that you're not just going to be
is anybody going to feel like jumping in here?
Team with a smaller front court, and even though, as I was going to say before you asked me the question, actually, one of the negatives about this game is even though you won, Mount Guys really did have 22 and 10 in the game, and you kind of didn't have an answer for him. Well, so that's something that is still an alarm bell that says, okay, Charles Bassey, okay. In some of these games down the road, Garrison Brooks, North Carolina comes to mind. That's still going to be an issue for you. Against Wisconsin, yes, they have talented bigs, but I don't think they will expose that as much as Seton Hall did today, as Western will next week, or as a couple other teams maybe down the road. That doesn't mean I think Louisville can win the game. I still don't think they can. Right. But that does help them matchup-wise.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying, with as far as, would I pick them to win up in Wisconsin right now? No. But looking down the street.
Nice, JJ.
That may be one they can steal, though, if they play well, if they do what they need to do and make a few plays here and there. That's one to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah,
good job, JJ.
Most of that, or pretty much all of that assessment there, without a doubt. So, just kind of watching how they play. And I agree with Jack. Me and Jack had that conversation today. I said, Louisville could win the game, but if they get just annihilated down low. Now, what I will say, what I liked was it felt like our bigs could score as well. Now they did it a little more by committee, and by no means was one of them as dominant as.
I agree with that, Demonte.
That's okay.
But he walks the ball up the court, so it's not like we might play some teams who just try to wear him down, but he plays at a good pace, so you're not really worried about him getting like crazy tired.
Yeah,
like he got a game that don't burn a lot of
energy. I will say, watching the game, that's one of those stats where I jump on people all the time for this when they'll go straight to the stats and they'll say this or that. And I'm like, yeah, but the game kind of shows something different. I do think that rebounding stat, Louisville only got out rebounded by 2. But I do think watching the game, if you're a fan, you go, okay, we got to do some different things here on the boards. But I am glad that the numbers started to equal out there. That's something you want to see. Some of that's going to come from the free throw line too.
I don't think
that was nice to see. Okay, well, we'll keep rolling around. We got another 5, 6, 7 minutes here. Let's jump to Chris. Welcome in, man. What's going on?
What's up, Steve?
What's up, man?
So here's my thoughts. DJ is going to have to figure out how to play with Carly to slow down to do what he needs to do, because we were really thinking that he was going to go to the league. Here's the thing. If he doesn't figure this out, next year Ellis comes in, another ball-dominant guard. So he's got to figure out how to play with these guys and quit settling for jumpers and just be the David of last year. And, man, I think we're so close. We're one shooter.
It is game 2. Got to relax.
Really great, but I love to fight these guys. I love that Mackey's went out and got us some dogs. Guys, think about this. Our last 3 field goals are Jalen, Dre, and JJ. All freshmen. You got
all freshmen, man.
I'm here for this. I'll get up and I'll listen to you guys.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's a great point. I saw Chris make that point on the live stream, and Phil Baker texted me something. He loved Coach Patino, but the one thing we always screamed about is we said, "Hey, man, there are young guys that can make plays."
He wasn't there.
That's what we wanted to see, and it was kind of funny. Somebody on Twitter wrote me and said, with the Chris Mack press conference, you almost cringed. As much as we like to laugh at Kentucky when Chris Mack said something along the lines of, "Hey, man, I'm coaching a pretty young team here."
Yeah, I had a complete, oh, my God, I'm listening to Cal moment
there. I know. I think all Louisville fans are going, you're like, oh, yeah.
Okay, I got you, Lauren.
It's kind of an odd thing here.
I got you, Lauren.
Sophomores are really young. They're not, Aiden and Jalen and Quinn, these are guys that didn't play hardly at all last year. So to have such a young team is different, but it is cool to see those young guys getting in there, making plays, knocking down big shots, getting big rebounds, playing. There was a possession in this game where Seton Hall come down and made 8 or 9 passes. Louisville closed out on every single pass. denied every single pass. And it was really a Virginia-esque thing of beauty. Maybe not today, they lost to San Francisco, but just the way you watched Louisville's defense shift back and forth.
Carly Jones will definitely have a triple-double this year.
Close out. It was like a perfect deny, ball drill. And ended up with Seton Hall missing a shot, Louisville getting a rebound, and it was an excellent defensive possession. And
I know.
That he has a bunch of dudes that may be not as talented against some of the teams they're going to play, but I think the fight they have is going to keep them in and win them some games. So we'll finish it off here with Travis. Travis, welcome into the ESPN Louisville basketball postgame show. What's going on, man?
Hey, not a whole lot. I just wanted to say, the Carly Jones, I'm anxious to see him against some bigger. He is fearless. That's the one thing that I think that is the biggest thing for him. That could be a great thing. It could
just he can play
later in the year. We'll see. I mean, he went in a couple times against 7-footers and did a couple things that may get him in trouble against bigger even guards.
Right, Jay.
But with that said, he is a very solid, shifty, really.
Okay, Steve is about to wrap it up, so y'all want to stick around or share it?
Excuses, honestly, Rummage. How many excuses are we going to make for David Johnson? Last year it was he had to get it figured out. Then it was his injury. Then it was his conditioning. Then it was he had to win half. I've never seen a human being in my entire life in college basketball, and I've been around for a while, that has lived off one half of great basketball and been labeled great in my life than David Johnson.
So you're waiting to see Carly Jones against better competition. David Johnson is overhyped.
Right-handed, he can't shoot.
Oh, God.
That's all he is.
This
I don't understand why we keep making excuses for why David Johnson is not giving us what we want.
Jesus Christ.
Well, and look, Travis, I appreciate the call, man. I mean, he's a sophomore, but yeah, I can get it. I can get it. I mean, I'm like, he's a sophomore player. He was pretty good last year. He did quite a bit of good things coming off an injury, and then missed half the season. It's like, okay, and then this year you're kind of changing. So let's see how he does. I mean, we'll see. But I get it. I kind of get the frustration.
I know what you're saying.
I think a lot of people expected him to immediately this year be one of the best players, if not the best player. And 2 games in, that's not the case.
I do have a question on that subject for you, Steve. I know Carly played all 40 minutes tonight. David Johnson played 34 of the 40 minutes. I mean, you would think as some of the guys come back and healthier, Josh Nickelberry especially, someone will factor in that guard rotation. That won't be the case every night because you can't play Carly Jones 40 minutes every night. You would think.
Absolutely.
Would you envision Mac trying to stagger their minutes a little bit more when Carly is on the bench, so that instead of going like a full second team backup guard lineup, just kind of stagger them to where David can get some time on the ball without Carly in the game?
Yeah, no, I think you'll have to, but it's almost like you're waiting for Josh Nickelberry. I think when Josh Nickelberry gets back, if Josh can give us something, maybe even Menlin getting back would help because Sam Williamson can step up, play a little bit of the 2. I mean, you can go with some pretty large lineups. I mean, a guy like Dre Davis, I mean, the way he plays defensively, he can absolutely step up and play the 2 guard. And maybe make David Johnson the guy there at times. And I really like where your head's at on that, Jack, because, I mean, you can get some pretty large lineups in there. Let David be the single point guard. Get Carlik some rest because your point is very valid. I love what Carlik did tonight. You can't do that every game. I mean, you can't play him 40 minutes and expect him to go, and then turn around and in 40 again. I wouldn't mind Sunday to see Coach Mack maybe give David the ball a little more, let's see what Carlik, maybe give Carlik a little more time on the bench against a team like Prairie View, because that is going to be something down the stretch that you're not.
They're going to be in top 25 soon.
Maybe a guy like, and maybe it's just they don't feel like they have another good ball handler to come in. Maybe you hope Josh is that and kind of fills that role. Will he? I don't know, because again, Josh is one that, I'm excited about, but I haven't watched him really do it. I mean, we saw him make a few plays here and there last year, but we haven't saw him play in a serious role. And that's something we will see, hopefully, in the next few games. Also, what's on tap, presented by Great Flood, Louisville made, Brewer owned. Tomorrow, I do want to say this. I want to remind people, tomorrow, with that what's on tap, Louisville football hit the road tomorrow. They'll take on Boston College. The Coors Light pregame show with Pat Jaggers and Taylor Lynch at 2 p.m.
When is the Roy Jones Mike Tyson
and then
thing?
the Coors Light postgame show with Mark Ennis, who always does a great job, around 7 p.m. That'd be the first place to take your calls here live from Scott Satterfield. And we'll close it out right here, Jack, with the Huffman Auto Group inside the hardwood. At which the way I do those is, I know everybody kind of does their own style. It's kind of just a little wrap up of the night that was, or the game that was. And at the end of the day, Louisville made plays in a close game. They faced adversity with Sam Williamson going out. They faced some adversity late with a few calls that didn't go their way. And they fought through it. And they did enough to win the game. You can say, well, a guy missed a free throw at the end. Well, you know what? My guy hit their free throw. J.J. Traynor stepped up and knocked his 2 down. So I don't really care that a guy missed a free throw at the end of the game. It's my guys made plays. Chris made a big point. These young guys down the stretch made plays to win the game. And that is why you feel so good as a Louisville fan tonight. Carlik Jones had a tremendous game. Almost had a triple-double again, or flirted with 4 assists away. I mean, that's still a few assists away, so I don't know about almost had one, but flirted with one a little bit. And then it wasn't like he just hit 3 or 4 shots down the stretch and you won the game. 3 different freshmen. Jalen Withers.
Yes.
You had Jalen
Yes,
Traynor,
he never loses. DeMonte. I'm sorry, DeMonte. You can tell he never loses at the park.
That's why tonight, as a Louisville fan on this Friday night,
you pick him up first.
Go to bed with a smile on your face, feeling good. And you know what? Everybody, as you lay down tonight, make sure that you send a middle finger emoji to James Striegel. Just shoot him one. Just on the Twitter.
Ramage.
All right, buddy. You too, man. Cool.
Okay, now that you've done all that radio crap, what do you really think?
I know. Now we can do. We suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Now that you got all the radio crap out the way, like, give me the real truth.
Man, these young fellas, dude. What about these young fellas, man?
Okay.
I mean,
are they?
Listen, I remember. Listen, here's the thing, man. I just finished off with this. Carlik Jones has a great game. If Carlik Jones hits 2 or 3 shots down the stretch, you win the game, you're like, okay, yeah, we won, but I mean, how long can Carlik Jones play 40 minutes and carry us? It's only so long. I think Carlik Jones has a great game. Down the stretch, like Chris said, he said it on here and he called in and said it. You've got Traynor, you've got Dre Davis, you've got my man Jalen Withers. Listen, when Seton Hall hit that 3, the big man hit the 3, I was like, it's over. And Davis comes right back down. And look, I can complain about this more on the air than I did on the show. The refs sucked. I mean, they were
bad. And it felt like they were like doing that. You know that extra stare we always see when we're sitting up courtside, like you're almost waiting for somebody to talk back or something. Yeah,
I know. Like you were just waiting
as soon
to
as
call
Coach
that.
Mack showed that referee up, palming the basketball. Yeah, you knew they were going to. Listen, Landis says, I feel like Quinn should shoot every time he gets it. Hey, Steve, how funny are the Carlik Jones / Quinn Sislinski props that we were talking about a long time ago?
No, man. Listen, y'all. That's why y'all listen to us.
Oh, Quinn
Sislinski. So,
no, he got game.
Oh, dude. Yeah, how is that? So for Dre Davis, man, to take that ball to the bucket with 4 fouls, go straight up and score is like, it's orgasmic, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these dudes. And then for JJ, like JJ got that ball in the paint, and I was like, this is gonna be terrible. He's gonna be because he has no. I'm like, he has no idea what to do. How wrong was I? You know what he did? Because most people would say right there, know what to do with the ball. You know what JJ Traynor did? He said, I'm 6'8" athlete. I'm gonna take one dribble, boom. I'm gonna go right in between these dudes. I'm gonna go up, misses, gets it right back, goes right back up and scores. Like, I know what I'm doing. I mean, I caught the ball in the paint. I love how JJ was like, I caught the ball in scoring position.
Right.
This is my job to score now. You know what I'm saying? It's not my job to hit somebody else here. It's my job to score. I'm in scoring position. They did it. I mean, it was, and then to get that rebound, like, it just made so many big plays.
You know how awesome. Ownership, like it looked like they had ownership of their own team. Like I didn't like when Coach Mack would always say, kind of like, oh, it's their team. They got to figure it out, kind of. You know, I'm like, nah, Coach. You know, it's your job to make sure they figure out. No, they look like, dude. I mean, I think that's what the quarantine style is going to be like. You know, just guys are actually taking ownership of their own team, and they look. Hey, Steve, say what you want. They looked tough as a team.
Listen. They had a possession. I was just talking about this one here on the end. They had a possession where Seton Hall made 9 passes. Boom. And they made 9 passes around the wing. Our guys, man, it looked just like a deny, ball, deny, ball. Like, I mean, listen, 9. It was Virginia-esque, man. Like, it was really Virginia-esque defense.
Do you know that drill is so hard, Steve? Those
I was always a big man, dude. So, like, I had to, like, I'm like, dude, this is not my drill. I should not be guarding people out of here. So, but for that, I mean, for them to be able to do that, and then Seton Hall passes it around, makes 9 passes, gets off a contested shot and misses, and we get the rebound. I'm like, dude, you've got dudes that do not care to play. They don't care to play defense. Like, they're hard nosed. Like, we are going to. I don't know that this team is Final Four good, but I do know, like, we're gonna love this team.
Did you feel like we got okay? I heard you talking about kind of the big man situation. Did you feel like the big man dominated us?
I don't know if he dominated.
Is it fixable? What I'm saying is, are we going to be able to rebound with big time teams?
Listen, you know, the foreign kid isn't what hurt us on the rebounds. The Ike, the big kid from Florida State, hurt us on the rebounds.
Yeah,
because he really, man. Because like I said, we only got out rebounded by 2.
Okay, but was it because they were just like stronger handed or something?
What worried me a little bit was some of it just felt like God-given size, like especially when Ike was in there. It felt like some of the rebounds, man, he just got, you know, and I was like, okay, but that's a handicap we're going to have right now.
You know what it looks like, too? It looks like, Steve, you know how some wide receivers are good at, like, keeping their hands low and pushing off, and then wide receivers get caught extending, right? Yeah. It kind of seemed like their big men are used to kind of, you know, bumping a little low, you know, using their hips a little bit, you know, pushing off before. Yeah, does that make sense? Like pushing off early. Like DeAndre Davis gets this rebound and the guy falls and he gets called for it. And it's like, yeah, DeAndre, you're going to have to learn how much pushing you can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like they still just don't know how to get away with pushing. But they were willing to get the foul before, you know what I'm saying, before they give up the rebound. You know
and we're kind of doing it by committee, man. I mean, I'm reading right now, Quinn had 7, Traynor had 3, Jones had 11, David Johnson had 4, Sam had 3. Remember, you played the last 12 minutes without Sam.
How bad is the toe thing going to be?
Man, I hope it's not, because he was starting to look like a stud. He made that one move and pulled up mid-range, and I was like, He's starting to play like a stud. So I hope it's. I doubt he plays Sunday. Ain't no way he plays.
Yeah, he won't play Sunday. But here's the thing with the toe: you either got to shut it down for a month, or you gonna have to do
it,
huh?
Or play through it.
Yep. Yeah, I spent my whole year getting my toe wrapped, like my junior year or something. It's just like it just sucks.
Well, hopefully, it's just something he can play through. I mean, he walked back out pretty clean, so he's back out on the bench.
Yeah. So it wasn't like they had to go perform. He didn't put him straight into the cast, perform no surgery.
A boot don't mean anything.
What would Darius Perry have done out there today?
Nothing. I don't miss him at all. I will say this though, David Johnson. I said this on the air. We had a caller too that kind of was like, "David sucks," and
I heard him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I do think he's trying to figure. I think Carlik's an alpha man, like out there. And David's he's starting to, and it's not something that he can't get over, but he's starting to kind of hang around the 3-point line, almost like a
shooter.
Yeah, like, and it's like, okay, that's going to get your minutes taken.
No, listen, we had that conversation last time. He respects Carlik's ability to get around. So, when Carlik's making plays, I mean, David's just gonna have to learn. Like once he picks up his dribble, you're gonna have to start getting ready to attack. You're not gonna be able to size up the floor.
No.
Because defense is just gonna lock in on you. So yeah.
Because if he keeps doing that, Charles Middleton comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Middleton can give you anything. There's already people starting to salivate over move Dre up to the 2. If he can guard anybody, move Sam up. Give me, you know what I'm saying? Give me a monster lineup now with Carlik. And it's like, so I'm like, David, dude, you need to I'm not worried yet. Like, I mean, it's the guy that called in. I was like, dude, he missed half the season last year with an injury. He looked good. Like, I mean, the guy that called in was like, he played one good half against Duke. I'm like, that's a little bit of a stretch. Like,
right.
He played one good half.
Once he started doing the right hand, it's like, yeah, dude, you a Lachlan head or something. And you a Lachlan head, and you're dying to be right on this one.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. I mean, I can criticize David and say, hey, you need to get more active off the ball. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, because his stats tonight, man. I mean, he played 38 minutes, dude. And I don't care to criticize him. So you had 9, 4, and 4, or you had 9, 4, and 1. 9, 4, and 1, 38 minutes. That ain't gonna cut it, bro. Like, yeah, like no, you're gonna have to come up with a little more than 9, 4, and 1 in 38 minutes.
You're gonna have to attack people's body. You're gonna have to get fouled more.
Or rebound more. Do something more. Like Carlik shouldn't have 11 boards and you got 4. Like,
I mean, but listen, it's hard to go from being a point guard to a 2 guard. I mean, we watched Dwayne Wade play with LeBron James, and we was like, yeah, Dwayne Wade. Like you got to think for the first 20 games, we were like, what are you doing? This thing is not going to work.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, LeBron and Dwayne Wade just standing around, watching each other. Listen, what did they do, Steve? They just watched each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And then the coaches are going to have to okay, let's look at the video. Let's see what you're doing. These are situations where you got opportunity to eat.
And you saw the video of them celebrating
with JJ Traynor? Yeah, I did.
That's so awesome, dude.
No, it's awesome. And he's a young fella.
I know.
He's a young fella. Dre Davis is a young fella. Listen, Carlik is probably getting younger by the day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Carlik, I'll tell you what, Carlik's having enough fun that I'm starting to.
I'm not listening. Steve, I'm not playing this game with you at all. Don't
he might have a decision to make, man. He might be like, oh, no, man. This squad coming back. Dude, you put him and Ellis out there, I'm like, David.
Why would I?
He comes back, Hey, Dave, you better take on off, bro. Because Ellis and Carleek together would be nasty.
If Carleek has this good of a year, and came back, we would get the death penalty, Steve.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There is no way they would let Carleek Jones come back with L. Ellis and Bobby Pettiford on this team.
Man, I'll tell you what, dude. I was just really excited, man, watching that. Like, I can't believe that I had accepted defeat down the stretch because I was like, I had already planned. People that do radio or people, if you're on here and you do some kind of podcast or something, you know how it is, but you already kind of got an idea of what show you're going to do.
Yeah.
That last couple minutes, I had already prepped for my, hey, I'm aggravated. We're all aggravated, but like this is without certain people. Like they're just got to learn to make some plays. And then before my eyes, they made those plays, and I was like, oh my god, dude! Like they're doing something, man. They're doing something. And this team, dude, they look. If you are the 90s, the mid 90s, late 80s, mid 90s, Louisville fans are just salivating watching this team because it's like this is those teams that went to. I'm not saying they're as talented, but this is those teams like mid 90s that went to the Elite Eights and stuff. Like this is same type of teams.
I mean,
not as talented.
It's great to have teams with personality, ain't it?
I know, man.
Like, listen. Okay, Ryan, shoot the lights out. Jordan, shoot the lights out. You know, Stephen Enoch, you just, you know what I'm saying? You are what you are. But it's to have a bowl of defensive tough personality and let's see them grow everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was off. Yeah, no. And listen, I will say this too, people. They did say all the Xavier fans said Coach Mack had droughts. You know, had offensive droughts. Like that was a thing. So I wouldn't. If you hate offensive droughts, you should temper your expectations because they're going to happen.
What Kentucky does too, and the reason why is they're running the same type of offense. Cal and Mac both. They say, y'all know how to play ball. I got some quick hitters. Other than that, I'm gonna just put y'all on because how many times Cal, he does this, Mac does it too. I'm gonna get one guy on this one side of the floor isolated with the ball. Like that's your play to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna literally isolate the right hand side. If you can't go get a bucket on that guy, I'm gonna pull you out.
Yeah, I mean, and Mac does that, and that's why, I mean, Kentucky has droughts like that too for the same reason. So it's like, I mean, that's just, I like that style though, because I think it puts guys, I mean, it gives guys like Dre Davis the freedom to, hey, I can duck my head. I know I can go get this bucket. I'm going to go get this bucket.
Okay, this is a pressure situation. This is what we do here. This is listen, this is how you get drafted. You show the league what you can do in this position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have this opportunity at least 6 times a game to go ISO. And that's 20 points or 6 points.
You know, down, what was I just looking at? Oh, man, I just lost it. I had something I was going to say. It was perfect, but I can't find it now. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, dude, you ISO like that, you give them a chance to make a play. And, I mean, the young guys are doing it. Sam was starting to look like a stud, man. He was starting to look like a stud. So, I don't know, man.
Would you give Sam some time off or just say it's going to hurt all year? So just,
I mean, maybe Sunday, but Sunday, I said this on the show, man. Sunday's going to be an interesting game too because, I mean, let's see how mature they are. I mean, you come off a big win like that where you're excited. I mean, you made plays down the stretch. I mean, can you turn around on Sunday and beat a team you should beat? I mean, you know, with Western on the horizon, because Western's going to come into the bubble this weekend. And
we play on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so. I think Tuesday.
Really?
I might be wrong, but I think Tuesday.
What was that Western Final for?
They ended up losing by like 8 or something like that. Yeah, West Virginia ended up getting them pretty decent. I think. I mean, it wasn't like crazy. It was
like 60-70 or something, 64-70.
64-70. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't crazy. Yeah, I mean.
And where'd they play that
at? Sioux Falls.
Mm-hmm.
At Sioux Falls, North Dakota.
So who does Western have next?
It might be us.
Who does Kentucky have next?
Richmond.
Tomorrow?
Sunday.
We got a football game, Steve.
Well, football game. Yeah, look, it's time to turn our attention to football now, man.
What time is the football game?
Noon? No.
Does somebody in here know? Does anybody know what time the football game? Wait, Patty Ice was talking about doing a thing at 2:00. So is it
3? Probably 3:30 then.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. No, Western plays Arkansas, Little Rock, and then us. So they get one game before they play us. They play us on Tuesday at 6.
Tuesday at 6. Football. Okay, so before we get out of here, what are they going to do? Boston College.
Man, it's almost hard to wrap my brain back around it.
You think the football team was sitting around watching the basketball team look tough?
They play at 4. Football games at 4. Okay. Yeah, maybe because, like, dude, I swear, you know what's crazy is it's like I'm having a hard time. Like, I saw something earlier and it was like, how did they say it? It was like Syracuse. We shut Syracuse out. And I was like, oh man, we just played Syracuse like last week.
Last week?
Yeah, I was like, man, like I thought that game was forever ago. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Be nice if they won. I think, like I said, if they beat Boston to get people back, I don't think they're going to get a bowl now, even if they win their next 2.
Even if they win,
because you see the Pinstripe Bowl dropped off.
Yeah.
Apparently, like 2 or 3 more from the ACC are supposedly dropping off.
Okay.
So I'm like, if that happens, they may not. But I'm okay with it because they pushed that weight game back so far. Because I'm still getting the 3-4 extra weeks of practice. So that kind of like. But I mean, if they put us in a bowl, I mean, I'll take another game, man. For sure.
Oh yeah. I'll take all the extra football I can get.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the team.
And again, we're getting to see young guys, man. I'm watching young guys is refreshing, man.
And we're gonna watch it again tomorrow.
You said what?
I said we're gonna watch it again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are you gonna watch the replay tonight?
I don't know, man. It was a lot. I haven't been that juiced up about a game. Elijah's here, so me and him had the house to ourselves, and me and him watch games together. We get juiced up, dude. So there was a lot of manly testosterone flying around here.
So what you got him now?
Nothing. I'm gonna kick back. The wife is home, or she's about to be home, and all that stuff. So I got nothing for the rest of the night, man.
Yeah, I might watch that replay. I might watch Western too, because I didn't actually watch it.
They're tough.
Yeah,
I don't know how much better they are than what we played today. Seton Hall's better than people think, man. Like Seton Hall probably gonna make the tournament. I mean, Seton Hall may be one that we got coming off that. I mean, because they I mean, like Coach Mack said, like I mean, you can't deny like. And that was pretty ballsy of them to play us.
Yeah,
coming off too. Yeah, like I would have totally understood if they were like, "Hey, no, we ain't playing Louisville." Like, like no way. But I mean, so they're a good team though.
Film you eating pizza on air. Please.
That was sick, man.
That's not funny.
Yeah, don't do that, dude.
Yeah, that's not cool. It's not funny. Don't do that. All right, get out of here, man.
All right, man. I will talk to you in a little bit. Call me when you're watching the replay. Let me know what you see.
For sure. Appreciate everybody. We're gonna get out of here though.